So we will begin. And first, let me welcome each of you. My name is Deborah Royster. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Seabury Resources for Aging. And today, I'm also your ambassador for this session. And so we invited you here so that we can have a greater sense of Seabury's work in the community. And we're very fortunate to be joined by some of the Seabury team and by our volunteers as well today to share Seabury's story and to tell you firsthand about the work that we do. We'll visit a couple different sites in this building and we'll keep you only for about an hour, as we promised. And afterwards, my colleague, Gregory Wagner, is going to follow up with you to get your feedback on your thoughts about our program today and how we can improve going forward. Come on in, Susan. Let's get it started. So while they're getting settled in, why don't we take a few minutes to introduce ourselves. Let's start with Greg.
I am Greg Wagner with Seabury Resource for Aging. I am their Events and Advancement Coordinator.
Okay.
I'm Victor Domowski. I'm independent fundraising consultant and learned about Seabury having met Deborah.
Thank you.
I'm Sam McCoy. I'm a Ward 4 resident, 50 years.
And chair of the Ward 4
Senior Advisory
Council. He's very modest, among other things.
I'm Teresa Cusick. I'm a Ward 4 resident, an attorney, and a member of the Ward 4 Democrats.
Hi, I'm Hannah Eberhardt, and I'm the service coordinator here at Friendship Terrace.
Hi, I'm Tawanda Jackson. I'm the missions coordinator here at Friendship Terrace.
I'm John Schaefer at Seabury Volunteer.
I'm Corey O'Donnell. I'm Director of Marketing and Community Relations for Seabury Senior Living.
Calvin Fields, I'm a Ward 6 resident.
Susan Harper, Ward 6 resident.
Ann Winker, Seabury Volunteer.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again, each of you, for being here today. I just wanted to start by telling you a little bit about why I'm here at Seabury. And it really relates to my background and my childhood. I grew up in Washington, D.C., surrounded by the community village, my family, neighbors, loving teachers, clergy, many Girl Scout leaders, and many, many others who encouraged me and supported me as I grew up in this community. And the lessons and values that they have shared with me really have remained with me and in my heart over the years. Today, many of those individuals who cared for me and nurtured me and my friends as we grew up are growing older and now need our support and need considerable additional support for them to be able to continue to live independently in their homes and neighborhoods and all the areas that we know and love in the communities that we've nurtured and built over many years. When I was general counsel at the Office on Aging, I really had a bird's eye view of the kinds of challenges and opportunities that exist for older adults. And I had the opportunity to really get a keen understanding of the kinds of programs and services that the Office on Aging offers to support older adults in the Washington, D.C. area. One of the things that became very clear to me was that most of us are bewildered as our loved ones grow older and their needs change. And we don't know where to turn and what resources are available to support them and to support us. And I know in my own family, we had that same experience, and we were benefited greatly by the expertise of social workers and other community workers who really had the expertise and knowledge and knew about community resources and supports that were available to help my mother, who's now 98 years old. And she has benefited, and so have we, greatly by that expertise, by social workers and other experts in the community. So I have really, at this point, devoted my life's work, and this in my life's work with the folks here at Seabury. It's a great, amazing, committed team of professionals, and we work every day to provide support services to older adults, including housing, transportation, care management services, and other support services. And we also work in concert with an amazing team of volunteers, and some of them are here today, and they will share their stories with you as well. So let me tell you a little bit about Seabury's mission. Our mission is to provide dignity to older adults by supporting and encouraging independence, supporting families, and engaging community. One of the ways we encourage independence is through the Seabury Connector. I'm sure you've seen the buses that traverse the streets. That service provides more than 200,000 trips annually to older adults in the District of Columbia, taking them to and from medical appointments and other necessary community appointments. We also support families. Seabury supports families as a provider of affordable housing. This is one of those examples here at Friendship Terrace. With Friendship Terrace and Springville Terrace in downtown Silver Spring, and also the Seabury residences at Home First, we provide a safe and affordable home for about 346 older adults in the Washington area. And this is in low, these are low and moderate income older adults who live in our housing communities. We also engage with the community through our Age in Place program. That's an intergenerational program that provides youth volunteers and other volunteers who go in the homes of older adults in wards 4, 5, and 6, and do light housework and yard care services. I want to tell you a little bit about where I see Seabury going. I would like in 5 to 10 years for Seabury to more than double its size and the quantity of services that we are able to provide the community. I would like to see, most importantly, I'd like to see every adult in the Washington area have a safe and affordable place to call home. And to do this, we are going to need additional resources. We're going to need additional staff, such as our staff who are here today who work at Friendship Terrace to help provide supports to the older adults who live here. We're going to need additional drivers for the Seabury Connector service. With 4 additional drivers, we could provide about 20,000 additional trips every year. But we will need drivers, we will need vehicles to be able to continue to provide all of these services. Also, we could sponsor services to another 2,000 homes through our Age in Place program if we had additional project coordinators who can help to provide those services. Realizing this vision really supports the community and helps everybody. It helps the older adults. It helps all older adults who are seeking to continue to live independently and with dignity and respect for as long as possible. It also helps families knowing that their loved ones are being well cared for. And finally, just on a broader sense, at a community level, it's much better for all of us as taxpayers when older adults continue to live independently. It means that we get to live in the homes and neighborhoods we love, and we are not prematurely confined to nursing homes and other locations where the care is far more costly and far less personalized in many instances. So that's why I'm here. I come here every day. It is a blessing to do this work and to work hand in glove with so many who are also dedicated. And you're going to hear more about our work today. I know we had another guest to join us, and I will ask her now to introduce herself. And I see you also.
Hello, my name is Natalie Green. I hail from Lucky Ward 7.
Welcome, welcome. We have more guests. Come on in. Yeah. Thank you for chairs. Yeah. Oh, you might be sorry too from the hall. Okay. Come on in. Hi, Lois. How are you? Good to see you. Just gotta give our guests who joined us a couple of minutes. Lois, would you like to introduce yourself? Lois lives in Ward 4. Right. That's right. Lois?
Louis Davis, Director of AARP District of Columbia.
Thank you for being here, Lois. And Sally?
I'm Sally Holder. I served on the board here and was involved with Seabury for about 20 years. So I came back to see what's happening now and brought a friend who's on the Seniors Committee of College Park, Maryland.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. I'm Rosemary Perticary, and as she said, I'm on the Seniors Committee for the City of College Park. We're trying to create a seniors village. So I'm their main adventurer person. So here I am to learn about you.
So, for the benefit of those of you who just came in, I was just sharing a few thoughts about why we're here. We want to give the broader community a sense of the work that Seabury does, and so we're here with some of our colleagues and some of our volunteers who will walk through and give you just a quick site visit so you can see and hear about some of the work that we do. So I'm going to turn it over now to Greg Wagner.
Okay, hello again. My name is Greg Wagner, and I'm the Events and Investment Coordinator here at Seabury Resources for Aging. I first wanted to tell you and start by why I started working for Seabury. It was about 5 years ago. I used to work for Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. It was a great gig. But they decided they needed to move down to Florida, and I didn't see myself moving down to Florida, at least not yet. I absolutely love the Washington, D.C. area. The vibe that I get here, the people that live here, there's just an energy that I wanted to be still part of. So at that particular point too, then I decided I really need to make a career shift. I wanted to start giving back. So I said I need to start looking for an organization, a nonprofit organization. And so I was just talking to a few people, and of course DC is full of nonprofit organizations. And I happened to talk to Joe Resch, our previous CEO, and he was talking to me about Seabury Resource for Aging and what they did. And I was awestruck. I was just impressed. I didn't realize that there was such an organization that was here to help older adults, and especially in the capacity that it does. So I just did a little bit more from, Googling, of course, and asking him more questions. And all of a sudden one day he calls me and says, hey, there's a position open for fundraising. Would you be interested in that? And I'm like, well, absolutely, because I've read everything about your organization. I can see me doing this, doing that, doing all kinds of great things for the organization. So I came in and I was, again, just blown away by the professionalism, the dedication of the staff. So to me, it was like an easy sell for me. It was just like, I can do this. I can definitely do this. And Joe was like, is this even something interesting to you? And I said, absolutely, sign me up. Where do we go from there? So that gives you my whole, definitely all hands, or all foot forward type thing. And then also, I just was noticing, of course, myself, I'm aging. I want to be prepared. I want to know that there are services and people out there that are going to care for me. And and of course I have my parents and aunts and uncles that are aging too, and I want to make sure that they're okay. One of the big things since I've started working at Seabury, my mom, her big thing is, I'm aging in place. You're not going to put me in a senior living community. And I said, I agree. And as long as we can do that, Mom, you have my full support. But just know, if you need, we can help provide those services for you. So that's my story, real quick. As Deborah told you, today's session is designed to kind of give you a broad insight or an insight of what Seabury is all about in our work. I'll be giving, as she said, I will be giving you all a call within the next few days to answer any questions and to also get your feedback on what you may feel, how we can get the word about Seabury throughout the community. So, and the big thing is, if you all are inspired by the work that we do and the stories that we are going to tell you today, the best thing that you could do, a short-term type of volunteer thing, is become an ambassador, as Deborah. It is a commitment where you would invite at least 10 guests that you would have to come to an event just like this, so that they can learn a little bit more about Seabury. I'll be asking you to consider this when I give you that call. So just to make sure that we stay within our time constraint, I will answer any questions at that, when I give you that call. I want to start by telling you a little bit more, go into a little bit more detail about our mission. Deborah told you a little bit about what some of our goals are with that mission, but I want to let you know that our mission is to provide personalized and affordable services and housing options to help older adults in the greater Washington, D.C. area live with dignity and independence. During this event, we're going to go deeper inside that mission by talking about how Seabury encourages the independence, supports families, and encourages the community, and engages the community. I do this every time. And engages the community. I'd like to take you down now to the lobby where we can discuss how we encourage independence. So if everybody wants to follow me. Take a little. 4?
So we're going to 4.
Oh, I thought we were going downstairs first and then up to 4.
Okay.
And then
Is that
back
right?
here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll just follow you. How's that?
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely go to the lobby. Transportation is cost prohibitive to people that are on a fixed income. So that does create certain levels of hardship. Without transportation, many adults become isolated and afraid. Seabury the connector is there to provide free transportation to over 3,500 older adults residing in Washington, D.C. that are 60 years and older. Many of these riders appreciate a friendly face and a driver that knows them by name, and just make sure that they get to their appointments safe and on time. I'd like to play a recording from a rider, Miss Dia, that she wants to tell her story about how the Seabury Connector has given her independence.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Dia. I'm 67 years old and have lived in Washington for more than 30 years. I have 3 children, 15 grandchildren, and 1 great-granddaughter. But I am the only member of my family who lives on the East Coast, and I live alone. Thinking back about 5 or 6 years ago, I was very sick, a lot of serious health issues. My main activity was going to the doctor. I don't drive anymore. I need safe transportation, familiar faces, someone I can trust. You see, years ago when I was in my 20s, I was kidnapped and escaped by jumping from a moving vehicle. Seabury Transportation offers security and safety for me. When someone picks me up, I may not know their name, but I recognize their face, and they smile and I smile too, and they always call me by name. I trust that they will get me where I need to go and do it with my safety in mind. The drivers aren't stressed. You get picked up and it's not crowded. It's never late. I've had to wait an hour or 2 hours for a ride with other services. Fellow riders on Seabury aren't complaining. They are happy to be there. A lot of people wouldn't be able to go to the doctor on their fixed incomes. If you're paying $13 a day or more for cabs and you only have a $600 to $700 income, it is a hardship. I have a lot of medical appointments, and if you use a cab, it would be like having a car note. Seabury is convenient and easy on my pocketbook. Everyone I've met, the drivers, the dispatch people, and the folks at the office are still here for seniors and here for me. And that is so important when you don't have family. Just like I can walk in the ask her for any help because she is 2,000 miles away. Seabury is here for me, and they are in my corner right now.
As you see actually here, we're very proud of the work that we do for riders like Miss Dia. But as far as the Seabury Connects, we can only be better is if we had, as Deborah mentioned, more drivers and more buses so that we can double the amount of older adults that we are taking to their crucial crucial appointments. To their crucial appointments. Also, enable to extend the hours of operations so that we can make sure to get some of those older adults to their late afternoon appointments and make sure that they get home safe and sound. Now I'd like to go up to the 4th floor and discuss supporting families.
How much does Seabury transportation cost?
It's free to the riders. Yeah, it's a free service.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Now, the connector card is a little different. That is, there's a subsidy. Well, maybe you can sit. Yes, please. If you'd like to have a seat, please do so. Got a few chairs.
So as many of you know, senior living communities do not have a good reputation. Just think about some of the ways they're referred to. Old folks' homes, rest homes, and that, God forbid, facility attached to anything. It makes people kind of cringe. They're thought of as being as boring, cold, institutional, and non-caring, and just simply a place where you go to die. The fact is that many older adults thrive. The social aspects of these communities reduces the isolation, which improves the health and well-being of many of the older adults. They know that they are living in a community that is safe, comfortable, and well-maintained. Medical and special services are readily available and convenient. Seabury makes it a point to have many of its senior living communities in established neighborhoods to have residents feel a sense of security and inclusion. Our senior communities are also extremely affordable, especially for the area. Family members feel comfortable or feel confident knowing that that their loved ones are happy and living their life to the fullest. Corey, as you were introduced to earlier, will read a letter from a family member of Miss Sylvain, a resident over at Seabury at Springvale Terrace, and how their residence has impacted their mother.
Thank you, Greg. And as Greg had mentioned, this is a letter from the son of a resident to the administrator of Springvale Terrace. And it reads, Miss Benefield, I am finally writing you something I have felt for some time. My mother, Leola Sylvain, has been a resident of Springvale community for over a year. As you can expect, the realization that she would have to leave her home in DC was not an easy process. She lived in her house for many years and was so attached to it. She started to have a blood blockage, which would cause memory loss, which ultimately had her hospitalized. Depression started to set in since she was always home alone. We did not know what to do. We knew we had to get her out of her home so that there would be supervision. Springvale Terrace was the place to be. From day one, residents welcomed her into the community. She quickly developed new friends and now sees many as family. The staff actively engaged her and helped her to find her niche. What was surprisingly positive is how the community at Springvale Terrace embraced her and helped her find her place. At one point, she was stepping in to teach an exercise class, and at another, she was helping residents to become more connected, where they would actively check on each other. She was even elected the prom queen at the senior prom. With the weekly trips, daily activities, and overall feeling of community, she has become a walking advertisement inviting her friends outside of the Seabury communities to visit and consider moving. Along the way, I know there have been challenges, but we were encouraged by how much the staff is determined in addressing these issues. Many times I have seen your team go above and beyond to ensure the needs of the residents are handled. I truly see them as a blessing to our family. She has touted your efforts in working to help this community be even stronger. In addition, she is part of the Welcome Wagon Committee and is thriving. Since she has been at Springvale Terrace, the depression episodes have been drastically reduced. In addition, I want to single out two individuals who will literally always be in our prayers. Victor Armstrong amazes me. Vic's constant smile and sincere desire to help people is inspiring. He has seemingly endless amount of energy as he whirls to the needs of each resident, making sure they are fine, engaged, and smiling. He flows through this Herculean task with such a positive energy that it makes you forget some of these individuals make this feat more than a little difficult. I also want to mention Yvette. Her personal attention to my mother and obvious warmth expressed to the residents make a difference. The fact that my mother can still be on the go all the time through being shuttled to church, stores, and other venues is empowering to her. Her world is not limited to the quaint section of Silver Spring. To put it simply, thank you. Please pass our heartfelt appreciation and continue to charge your staff to be the change we want to see in the world.
Seabury is very proud that they are able to support families through affordable housing and services that help older adults here in the greater Washington, D.C. area. But we can only be better by making sure that we have the adequate staff and that we train them properly so that they can serve a aging population that continues to grow, as we all know. Through increased and well-trained staff, employer retention rates will increase. And that in turn will create a consistency in the type of care that our loved ones are receiving, and it'll be noticed. They will have a familiar face, which in turn then will make sure that the families and their caregivers will have this very self-assured or reassured feeling that they are getting the best care possible. I'd like to now take you downstairs back to where we started on the 3rd floor, and we can discuss how we engage communities.
Any individuals that would like to take the stairs, I'll lead the way.
And the rest of us will.
Elevators are going that way.
Just one floor down.
Hello, how are you? So stairs this way, elevators that way. Thank you for letting us bother you.
It was being put to good use.
Please help yourself to some refreshment.
Thank you.
They look all pristine. They're fresh pair of smarts.
Oh, thank you.
It's a little warm in the building.
It is nice, it is warm.
Yes, I think so, yes.
All right. Is Greg Holden, is that his name? Wagner. Greg Wagner. Greg Wagner. But that's a nice piece.
Coordinate plans with events. So I'm working with venues, with our in-house promoters, as well as like Ticketmaster and ticketing company to make sure that everything was on sale to people. When as soon as they click in, they were able to, no, I did not perform. I wanted to, but
Is that your guys?
yeah, that one.
Yes. Well, staff.
The parent company was Feld Entertainment, so what they've done is they also have like the monster trucks. They also do the Dwyer Sesame Street Live.
You're welcome.
They have Disney on Ice. So they, anything that's family oriented, they have their finger on. Yeah. But the circus, yeah.
Assisted living as well.
Yes.
Our chef made those tarts, so now it's cool.
So I'm gonna go ahead and restart again.
1 second, Greg.
Oh.
Lois asked what the vacancy, but it's full occupancy. You usually have a wait because it's, you know, the rents here, the average rents are about $1,000 a month. $800 to $1,000 a month. And then, so there are about 40 units that are Section 8. So those are adjusted based on the income of the resident. So they would be considerably less.
I apologize.
That's all right, no, go ahead.
So this is our third and final stop, and thank you for making up the stairs and the elevators. I'm sorry for a little bit of the hiccup. But this is what I wanted to talk to you about, how Seabury encourages community. And this is done through the dedication of our volunteerism. Most people, as you know, feel that they can never do enough and that their volunteering will impact, may have a minimal impact. The fact is that volunteers here at Seabury, we couldn't do everything that we do without our volunteers. On an annual basis, we're able to serve 2,000 age in place projects. We're able to serve 115,000 meals, nutritious meals, to those in wards 5 and 6.
How do you do that?
As far as through the
Serve meals.
Oh, the meals, it's done through, a lot of them through Catholic Charities, and there's a couple other agencies that we work with to be able to deliver the meals, but we depend on our volunteers to be able to be there at the dining sites themselves to make sure that everyone is served properly. So what we also do is we also provide the programming to 346 residents and families here at the senior living communities. For age in place clients in particular, 89% that we talked to said that they would not be able to stay in their homes without the program and without the help of these volunteers. They said many times, as if any of you are district residents, if you don't maintain your yards, you are subject to city fines. Then a lot of times their house would fall into disrepair. Then eventually what happened is they would end up on the streets or out of their homes with no other place to go. So through the volunteerism at Age in Place, it is actually critical to a lot of these older adults that live in Washington, D.C. Volunteering also helps with the problem, as we all know, with older adults, of isolation. With these volunteers coming and doing these projects and or working at nutrition sites, they're able to have conversations and learn a little bit from a lot of these older adults that have lived there their whole lives and have seen DC that none of us have ever seen DC. And so there's very fascinating stories that they can share. But it's also just that whole socialization and making sure that you are having conversations with a lot of these great older adults. And also just the way the pace of DC is moving. Neighborhoods in general, there's not that neighborhood feeling where everyone knows their neighbor. And so therefore a lot of older adults are even more susceptible to isolation. So through in particular the Age in Place program, that definitely makes it a lot better. I'd like to now introduce John Schaefer to you, who would like to share his story about volunteering and how it has impacted him and made him feel like he was engaging the community and just making a great impact.
Greg has said most of what I would say anyway. Hi, as Greg said, I'm John Schaefer. I've been a volunteer and a donor with Seabury for a number of years now, and I'd like to spend a few minutes telling you about how it has enriched my life in a number of different ways. I spent most of my life working for the U.S. government promoting democratic values in foreign countries. Values such as freedom of assembly, speech, religion, and the importance of giving back to your community. Giving back has become very important to me, not only because it makes me feel good, but it brings about positive change. So along with working with Seabury and a few other nonprofits that I work with, I believe I'm making a difference. Also, volunteering is what kind of sets Americans apart from the people in many other countries. I've given this talk a few times, so I'm going to give some new figures today because I looked them up just last night. And according to the Corporation for National and Community Service, which is kind of an umbrella organization for volunteer organizations in the United States, 63 million Americans volunteer each year. They give 8 billion, that's billion hours of service. And you put a value to that service, it comes up to $193 billion of what Americans volunteer. That's $193 billion making America stronger. So as I said, in addition to making me feel good, volunteering, giving back, not only makes our community stronger, but our nation stronger.
Yes.
Second, I've been a senior for quite a long time now, and I've begun to realize some of the issues facing an aging community, whether it's, as Greg has said, getting to the pharmacy to get your medicine or to the doctor for an appointment, getting enough nutritional food to eat, finding a place to live that understands the needs of an aging individual, or getting guidance on for caregivers and for families about important aging services. Seabury has stepped up to provide these services. And that's one of the reasons I'm volunteering for them. Sometimes it's just as simple as providing a clean home and a clean yard to a family. Those are some of the services that I've helped provide over the years. Can make a huge difference in the quality of life of an individual. Let me tell you about Miss Rogers. That's not her real name because we don't want to use real names here for privacy reasons. Miss Rogers is in her late 80s. She has mobility problems. When the Seabury crew of volunteers got to her house, it was pretty crowded, and one felt there was a real danger of her falling, and we all know what happens when a senior falls and possibly breaks a hip. The challenges of coming back from that are quite severe. In addition, her kitchen was a haven for germs. It's not that she didn't want to clean well, but her mobility problems, they were an issue for her in cleaning well. So we moved all the boxes out of the way so she could have a clear path for moving through her house. And we cleaned up the kitchen and vacuumed through the house. And then we got to the backyard. The backyard was covered with vines and poison ivy. The grass must have been at least a foot tall. And so we worked and we sprayed and we cut and we mowed. And by the time we finished, I swear that yard was a yard anybody would be proud of. Just the look on her face made us feel that all the hard work we had put into it was worth it. Just one last point. As I mentioned, I've been now volunteering for them for 5 or 6 years. And I have to say that these employees in Seabury, they give back every single day. That's my story.
Your compassion shines through.
Seabury is so fortunate to have volunteers like John, but in particular for like the Aging Peace program, to be able to serve its current client list and its ever-growing waiting list, they need to hire more volunteer coordinators, as Deborah mentioned, as well as project leaders. They also need to purchase additional vehicles to be able to get to these projects. This way, if they're able to do all this with the more staffing and more equipment, they would be able to have at least 100 more volunteers per week, which could almost double the amount of projects, like I mentioned, that they do 2,000 a year. It could almost double that in another year. So it's just critical that they definitely have those supplies and everything else just to make all of this happen. I really want to thank you all again for your attention to this presentation event, not a show. I'm still thinking Ringling, sorry. and all the up and down. But I want to let you hear from one last person, and I want her to tell you about how Seabury has impacted her, and how to the point that she's been so moved by what Seabury does is she's one of our best advocates. This is Ann Wicker.
Thank you, Greg. My name is Ann Wicker. I consider myself a mature senior. Seabury, I'm eternally grateful for their programs and the support I received. I had the opportunity of taking care of my aunt who just passed last year at 99. She would have 2 months. She would have been 100. And she made me promise that almost every day I would never put her in a nursing home. And so therefore she remained in her home. And with the support of Seabury, we used a lot of transportation. We needed the transportation. because she had a lot of doctor's appointments, and being a diabetic, it's very important that we keep all those doctor's appointments. And one of the things I try to tell people constantly, that the District of Columbia have the largest number of diabetics per capita in the United States. A lot of people are not aware of that, but we have the largest number. Therefore, these seniors cannot miss dialysis. It's mandatory, it's a must, that they go to that dialysis 3 times a week. It's not the procedure where you can say, well, I'm going on Monday, Tuesday, I could be bothered. If the seniors in the District of Columbia have to rely on Metro Access, most of them have to pay $7.50 each way. So that's $15 a day, 3 times a week, you figure for the whole month. A lot of the seniors only receive $600-700 a month, some of the seniors. So it's extremely difficult. So therefore we have to rely on transportation services that's free, like Seabury. It's a must. It's heartbreaking. It breaks your heart. That's my life now is committed to supporting Seabury and the work that it did. It's a difficult day for me today, but I had to come out. It's a must because my brother died yesterday.
Oh, no.
And I just want to get the word out to everyone that we have to commit to supporting Seabury and can let them continue the work for the seniors. I'm out there every day before the city council pleading for monies for seniors. It's mandatory, it's a must. The seniors, they're living longer. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry, Greg.
Thank you, Mrs. Wicker, very much for being here today, particularly under your circumstances, and you have our deepest sympathies. I told you earlier, and you know, if there's anything we can do to help you, please let us know. Mrs. Wicker is an amazing supporter and friend, and Mr. Schaefer as well. You know, my colleagues and I, I'm blessed to work with wonderful colleagues, but I should, in full disclosure, we're all paid. You know, we're paid employees. These are all volunteers, and you know, and they are not paid to be here tonight. You know, they are here in their capacity as volunteers because they, like our committed staff, believe in the work,
mission
of Seabury. So thank you for being here. And I want to take this opportunity to thank each of you for joining us this evening so you can learn more about Seabury's programs and services and how we engage with the community. We want to honor your time, and so we're running up on that hour commitment. What I do want you to know before we finish this evening is that Greg will be following up with you on the next few days. If you've heard anything here today that inspires you, if you have suggestions for how we can better tell our story, please let us know. And also, please tell your friends about the work of Seabury. If you feel inspired further, you could be an ambassador for Seabury, where you could invite some of your friends or associates, colleagues, neighbors to come and listen to a similar presentation about the work that we do. We appreciate your presence today and any ways that you might want to engage with us going forward in the community. So thank you again for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Before we
Yes.
go, who are these beautiful people?
A lot of them are their clients,
Residents,
residents
clients.
of
They're our
communities.
customers.
They're our customers, yeah. So we wanted you all to see them.